Hi, I'm Greg Watkins, Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce, Thailand. 2021 is BCCT's 75th anniversary, and while it might seem difficult to celebrate an anniversary during a pandemic, one of the things we're doing is reaching out and reconnecting with some of the people who made BCCT what it is today. And today it's my great pleasure to introduce Toni Webber. Toni served on the BCCT board in 2011, and she was founding chair of BCCT's first professional women's group. During her time in Thailand, she was Director Corporate Initiatives Asia Pacific at TNT Express Worldwide. So a very, very warm welcome, Toni. Tell us a little bit about your time on the BCCT and the board itself.
Hello, absolutely. It was a bit of a year of history, actually, when I joined the board, as it was the first year that women were allowed to join. And in fact, it was a bit of a double whammy for you boys, because it was not one, but two women were elected to the board that year. So definitely a year of change and the start of the diversity charge for the British Chamber of Commerce.
No, which is fantastic, and it's just a huge part of what we do these days. What's your enduring memory of your time on the board?
I would say definitely the people that served on the board with me, and also the people that we met during the various different events that we held. Some of the memories are of those of being able to make real change for people. A couple of events really stand out for me. One which was associated with my time with the professional women's group. We held an event for women entrepreneurs, and we invited, I think it was 10 ladies in Bangkok and the surrounding areas who had already set up their businesses in Thailand, and we invited them along to talk to the audience about the pros and cons, what went well, what didn't go well, and their experience of being business owners in Thailand. And we also had one of my fellow directors, Gary. He was the legal counsel at the time. He had a legal firm in Southeast Asia, represented also in Bangkok. So he also gave a talk about the legal ramifications of setting up a business. And what was really amazing after the talk, when we all we gathered around, we looked at the businesses of the people that came along, was how many people said, wow, we didn't know that we could do this. We didn't know that we could own a business outright. We didn't know. We thought that it had to be 50% partner with a Thai, or we weren't allowed in this area. So it really made a difference to people's lives. And I know of at least one lady that attended that event who went on to set up her own business, a spa business, and she said it really was because of the information that she got from the ladies and from Gary that night. So that was one event that sticks out. Another, after I left Thailand, I left Thailand in 2013, I went to work in Singapore. And I was working for an oil and gas company there, and they were aggressively expanding, and they wanted to expand. They were in the race to expand into Myanmar. And they could not find any good advisors. So I said, hold on, I can help you with that. So called my friend, actually the same guy, Gary, and he actually became an advisor to the company and earned me a lot of brownie points because they were actually able to expand into Myanmar. So yeah, definitely the memory for me was the people that we met.
Fantastic, and I'm still connected with Gary today, and he's still interested in Myanmar, although that's been suspended for a little while, I guess, with what's happening there. How has Thailand changed since you left, Toni?
Oh gosh, well, I guess the very first time I came to Thailand was back in 1995, also with TNT. I came over as an internal auditor, and that was before the SkyTrain was built, when there was just mass traffic jams everywhere. And at that time, it was, there were a lot of backpackers. It really was the destination of choice for backpackers. And what you see now is something completely different. I spent the last 8 years in Singapore, and it is now very much the number one choice for Singaporeans to come to on holiday. And that's both the young hip guys and also the older, wealthier crowd. The last company that I worked for in Singapore is in hospitality, so a technology company in hospitality. It was a global company, and our biggest country was Thailand. The number of five-star hotels that's really coming up in Thailand and attracting the wealthier visitor is incredibly impressive, and they are just beautiful properties. So I guess that's one change. Another change, of course, is more recently, and as I'm now here permanently retired, so I've been keeping an eye over the last year or so on what the various visa options were, and it's been very interesting seeing how the government is changing and wanting to bring in different classes of visa to attract wealthier people that want to come and live either part-time or full-time in Thailand. And just making it much easier for people to come in and invest. And I guess sort of segueing into COVID-19 and what's been happening over the last year. My last year of work was, when I was working, was spent at home. I wasn't allowed into the office, and I never believed that you could work from home, but I found out that actually I could work from home, and I quite liked working from home as well. And you see that that's a huge change worldwide, that people can work remotely. And Thailand is one of the best destinations in the world to work remotely. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to chill out after work and raise a family. So I also see a lot more people coming here that want to work remotely and have Thailand as their base.
Well, that segues nicely into the next question. And tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days. You can't be totally retired, surely.
Totally retired, yes, with my partner and my elderly dog who needs a lot of attention. He's a rescue dog from Singapore. Yeah, we've been doing a couple of projects in the area. Obviously, I'm just outside of Khao Lak down in Phang Nga. And the area has obviously been badly affected, with no tourists having been here for the last year and a half. So I've been sponsoring a couple of projects to help some of the local people and particularly some of the local soy dogs. We don't have a shelter here, so I've been spending a bit of time that. So not bored at all. Don't miss work, and definitely not bored at all.
Lucky person, lucky person. Big picture question. How do you see Thailand's position in the post-COVID world?
I guess going back to what I was saying before, it's a great place to have as a base to live. And if you're not going to be tied to an office, then I definitely see that this will be one of the number one choices for the digital nomads to come and live and work from. And I definitely see more and more people wanting to come here and invest and just make this their base. So definitely I see a lot more people coming into Thailand with money and completely different from the old sort of 70s, 80s backpacker types that we used to get.
I mean, I guess our final question, I guess we're looking at your favourite place in Thailand to be, but what's your favourite thing to do in Thailand?
I think that down we love it down south. There's not many people here. It's the landscape is absolutely beautiful. Just getting into nature, going to see the waterfalls, experiencing the little islands that pop up around Phang Nga Bay, chatting with the locals, buying their fruit and veg that they grow in their gardens, just getting back to be one with nature after 35 years, traveling the globe and being stuck in offices. So just getting out and about in nature, I think, is what we're enjoying.
Fantastic. I envy you. Do you think you'll ever make it up to Bangkok? Do you come to Bangkok?
As soon as I can, I'm coming up there, and I'll come round and we'll have a beer and talk about old times.
Okay, we'll let you go, Toni. Thanks very much for talking to us today. It's wonderful to reconnect, and let's hope it won't be too long before we can do that face to face.
I'll get you a beer. I'll get you that beer, Greg, when I come up.
Thanks, Toni.
All righty. Cheers.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.